Hello! So it's Keto Cricket here, and it's been a while since I've jumped in here. I thought I'd give you guys an update on the November goals because today is November 30th. And I know I look kind of like a hot mess today. I haven't been feeling great this week, so it is what it is. And I didn't have any web classes for my work today. So I'm like, I'm just going to look rough today. It's just going to be that day. So I am on my lunch break and I am in the process of making some chili that is super good. This is a recipe from Peace, Love, and Low Carb, and I'll kind of talk through the changes that I make to it as we go. But yeah, I thought I'd show you. As always, just go to her website. I'm going to bring this down so you can actually see a bit better. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe. Maybe that'll work. Maybe it won't work. Oh, look at that. It kind of works. Cool beans. So I'm going to show you, like, pour in what I put, but I won't talk about the measurements. It's Peace, Love, and Low Carb, though. Go check them out. So the first thing I do is first change I make to the recipe is I half it because it's just my husband and I, and it is really good. So we could totally eat it all, and so that would be dangerous. So instead, this is just 1 pound of ground beef, and that's still kind of a little warm. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my hot pad here, and I'm just throwing everything into my crock pot. So that's the other nice thing about this recipe is just a dump recipe. Literally just throw things into it. Makes it super easy. One of the main changes I made was she calls for both a tomatoes and green chilies and then a tomatoes with Mexican seasoning. And instead of that, I just used one of these smaller jars of this Green Mountain Gringo mild salsa. You guys have seen me use this probably hundreds of times. It's super clean ingredients. I mean, look at that. Those ingredients are just amazing. And I get this at Walmart. So it is on the top shelf with the other organic stuff. And I'm just going to dump that whole thing in there. And that's going to substitute for the 2 different kinds of tomatoes that it calls for in the recipe. So next I'm going to put in an onion. She actually calls for a whole red onion. I'm just going to use these yellow onions because these were given to us. They were free. So that's what I've been using. But I know, and red onions actually have a little bit more carbs depending on which app you use to look them up, or if you look up the USDA nutrition information. So using a yellow onion will have a little bit less carbs than a red onion as well. So, but I'm going to chop those up, and so while I slice them, couple of things. So the last time in November I said I wanted to go to the doctor, which I still want to do eventually. But honestly, guys, I can't afford it right now. So it's it's that time of year where you want to buy presents, and my daughter's graduating from college, which is awesome. But she has to move, and so that's some extra costs. And then we had the trip for Thanksgiving, and blah blah blah. So I didn't go to the doctor. I still need to go to the doctor. The other thing that I stopped in November was drinking coffee. You guys may remember I had switched to just drinking decaf, and so I just kind of wanted to see if I felt better. And I kind of did. I don't know if it was the coffee though, because see, when I drink tea, I don't put cream in my coffee. I just put MCT oil usually. And don't get me wrong, I like cream in my coffee, but I don't need it, so I don't need that extra fat. So I don't usually add the fat unless I really need it. And the MCT oil is really good. So I did have during Thanksgiving, I had some decaf coffee, which was super yummy. I'd forgotten how good it was. And what I had in it was some collagen peptides, which I showed you guys, and that is just, it makes the coffee so creamy. And that was one of the other things that I was working on, was to see if the collagen would help my joints. I haven't really noticed a change yet. It does seem like my hair, which I know everybody's like, oh, collagen doesn't really help with hair and nails. That's just a misnomer or whatever. but my hair has been growing a lot faster for the last couple weeks. I've been taking the collagen for probably 5 weeks now, steady every day. I like the way it tastes though. It's really good. So it might just be the extra protein. I don't know, but honestly, I eat a lot of protein throughout my day. Like I usually eat between 80 to 100 grams of protein a day. So when I track and know that, so I don't know if that's it or not. But I'm going to keep taking it in 3 months, or 2 months from now, I guess, I'll kind of reassess and see how I'm feeling. Because, you know, a lot of times it takes 3 months for really your body to notice all the changes that you make for additional supplements. And collagen, that's kind of how I'm looking at it, as a supplement. So I'm going to keep taking it for at least a couple more months. Like I said, it does seem like my hair is growing a lot faster. So I kind of like that. And the other thing I said I was doing was soaking the nuts that I eat to see if I tolerated them better. And that kind of came out with mixed reviews. It did seem like I could tolerate to eat them better, especially the walnuts. I could even eat cashews. Like, I never ate a bunch of them because they're super carby, number one. And number two, I am authentically allergic to cashews. So there's that. But I could eat them without getting a rash. Like, normally if I eat cashews, even if a handful, I'll usually still get a little rash on my face. And I didn't get anything, even with just a few. I was able to eat a couple handfuls of walnuts a few different times that I had soaked. No issues there. The problem I had was with my pecans. I guess probably because I buy the cheapest pecans I can find, which currently are the Great Value 24-ounce or 32-ounce bag of pecans that I get from Walmart. In case you're wondering, they're only like 55 cents a pound, which is great. So I get those, but like I said, probably because they're cheaper, they get kind of rancid, as in, like, they don't last very long. And I did read, like, you are supposed to, once you soak them, a lot of people have to, like, freeze them. And I was drying them out, so I don't know what the story is with that, but anyway, that's that. The other change I'm making to this recipe I didn't talk about yet, sorry, is I'm using mushrooms. And I'm just kind of chopping them really coarsely. They're just kind of different. And this gives that bean-like texture. Oh gosh, it's so good. And so I actually chopped up quite a bit. Probably more than I normally would, but these are so good. And they just add that extra meaty taste without a lot of calories. And mushrooms don't have that bad of carbs. So this is a, let's see, 400. This is a 1 pound package, and it was probably 3/4 full. So probably 12 ounces of these. And these are cremini mushrooms, which cremini mushrooms have a ton of nutrients and properties that you guys can check out. All right. So next I'm going to go ahead and just add my tomato paste. So her recipe actually calls for the whole can, but since I halved it, I will only be doing half of the can. Makes sense, right? Genius, I tell you, genius. Okay, and then we're going to put some Worcestershire sauce or coconut aminos. I prefer the coconut aminos over the Worcestershire. If you guys know where I can find sugar-free Worcestershire, let me know. I'm starting to think that might be like a unicorn because I cannot find sugar-free Worcestershire sauce. We ran out a while back and I've been trying to replace it. It wasn't sugar-free, it was just what we had, but now I can't find any sugar-free kind. So that's kind of depressing. And then we're going to do some chili powder. This is really expensive. No, not at all. This is just the Walmart chili powder. This does call for quite a bit of it, but, you know, this whole thing is 50 cents, so gotta love that. Love my cheap Walmart seasonings. Some things you want to spend more money on. I got some really good cumin, actually from our natural health food store that's local, and I'm actually almost out. I need to go probably buy some more, but you can definitely smell the freshness in this. because like as soon as you open the bag, it just hits you. It's super, super potent. And cumin's pretty potent anyway. I'm going to do some sea salt. And the other cool thing about this recipe is it's a crock pot recipe, one pot. But honestly, you could just make this on the stovetop. It comes together pretty fast. A lot of times I will make it in the morning and like put it on high, and usually by like 10:30 it's boiling, and so I turn it down so it's ready for me to eat at lunchtime, because sometimes I gotta eat it quickly because my husband will eat it all. It's really good. Like, I can totally see why. But he's been actually pulling out servings for me because he's like, I didn't know that you hadn't had any. So it's not on purpose. He's actually a really nice guy. But I put the rest of these recipes in there. I'm going to try to talk at the same time while I put it in. So we got some garlic powder. You guys can look up this recipe anyway. But things that I want to work on in December, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not going to go to the doctor in December either. So, because again, it's just expensive. My health savings account restarts in January though. So that's probably what I will plan on doing, is heading out in January. I actually found you can go to functionalmedicine.org, I think it is. I don't know, just look up functional medicine physicians or how to find a functional medicine physician. And they actually have a website that they'll take you to that goes through all that, which is really nice. So I'm going to use that. There's about 3 different functional medicine doctors that are about 45-50 minutes for me, which is very doable. So I'm going to try that out. But so that'll be January. But for December, one thing I'm currently trying just to see what happens is I started Monday. I cut out all the dairy in my life. So, which honestly hasn't been a big deal. Like, I thought it would be a big deal, and if you would have asked me a year ago if I'd give up dairy, I would have cut you. Literally, I would just cut your face. So I've been like, no, never giving up dairy. But it really wasn't that big of a deal. So, the hardest thing has been trying to still be satiated, because, you know, dairy is a lot of the fat that I have. Speaking of fat, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add these hot dogs. So this is a little different than what's on the recipe. These are the Applegate hot dogs. Again, I get these also at Walmart. They're kind of expensive. But again, it's just my husband and I don't need a bunch. So I don't feel as bad. I guess if I was trying to shop for a family, a larger family, I probably would be not as concerned about getting the sugar-free ones. But these don't have any nitrates, nitrites, or sugar. So I'm just going to chunk them up so it makes them more like chili hot dogs. This recipe is so good, you guys. I'm serious. You definitely have to try it. I'm like practically drooling just thinking about eating it. I've never eaten it without cheese though, so that'll be interesting. And then I have one more seasoning to put in here that I almost forgot. And it's pretty just kind of chunky when you put it all in there. And then it, sorry, I hope that didn't stop recording. Getting messages. But anyway, the last thing we're going to add is some cayenne pepper. So you want to add as little or as much depending on your style. The recipe calls for a decent amount. I usually put about 3/4 of what the recipe calls for, like even halving it. So 3/4 of half of it, because, sorry about that. I got a call and I meant to push ignore and I accidentally pushed answer because I'm a dork. So anyway, so that's kind of what it looks like. Once it cooks down for quite a while, I'll show you. There it is. It doesn't look super appetizing. I'm going to stir it up just a little bit. And then, but like I said, really I'll have to come back after it kind of melts down a little bit. And it does just naturally, that tomato paste kind of dissolves better and whatnot, and the moisture from the mushrooms and whatnot comes out. So it does get all the moisture you need. You don't need to add any more water to it. And it just turns into this marvelous, delicious chili. So the last thing I'm going to work on in December, starting actually the 1st, is I'm going to do 21 days of no nuts. So, and I'm just trying to optimize things. I'm trying to see how I feel. I love nuts. So I'm not saying I'm never going to have nuts again, even if I do notice a change, because I've been having some issues with my joints lately. So I know it's inflammation coming from somewhere. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do, is find out where it's coming from. And you can see like my eyes are still kind of puffy as well. And I've been dairy free for a week. So 2 weeks will be both dairy and nut free, and then I'll have a week of just no nuts. And I'll start to add dairy back very slowly and see, because I do have some theories. I think there are, like mozzarella, I think I have more reactions to than like Colby Jack. So we'll see how that works out, and I'll let you guys know if I don't talk to you sooner. Do you guys want to do a Vlogmas? I would be a live Vlogmas, so like maybe every day at, I don't know, it'd have to be probably in the morning, like 7:30 Pacific time or something. I come on for a few minutes, just let you know how life is going. If that's something you're interested in, I could do either like the 12 days of Vlogmas or the, I probably won't do the whole month of December because that's too much, but maybe 12 days of Vlogmas. Let me know what you guys want to do, and let me know if you guys checked out this recipe. Again, peace, love, and low carb. It's called Low Carb Slow Cooker Kickin' Chili. And Kendra does an amazing job with the seasonings. They are on point. So give it a try and have a great day.